Hello and good evening, and thank you for joining us for our Family and School Partnership Family Learning Institute on Google Classroom. This evening, our presenter will be Kate Schuster. I apologize for that, will be Kate Schuster from LinkSpring. She is a school transformation manager for the Learning Innovation Catalyst. So on behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Leslie Torres Rodriguez, and the Office of Family and Community Partnerships, we want to say welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. So I'm going to turn it over to Kate, and she will take it from here. And I hope that you enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I am so excited to get to work with Hartford Public School families this evening. I have the pleasure of supporting your teachers and the schools. So I'm really excited to get to support you all today as we explore Google Classroom. We have some folks in the chat who are moderating for us. We also will have space at the end to ask questions. So please put your questions in the chat. We will try to answer them as we go, but then the common questions, we'll make sure that we pull them out of the chat at the end. All right, so let's get going as we learn about Google Classroom for families. One note, this may feel a little bit quick as I go through this, but this is recorded and this is going to be on on YouTube. So you'll be able to watch this again and again if you would like some more support with understanding Google Classroom. All right, so let's get going with our Google Classroom tutorial. So Google Classroom is an online site where you can see all of the work that the teacher wants your student to do. This is also where you can submit assignments and get your video conferencing link and even communicate with your teacher. Today, we are going to learn about Google Classroom, its functions, how to submit assignments, how to join a Google Meet video conference for your class, and how to communicate with your teacher. And you'll see that throughout my presentation today, I'm really going to have this, a student perspective as I go through, because we also, would love to have students watch this as well so they can get some information about how to navigate Google Classroom. All right, so first, we have to really figure out how we actually sign in to Google Classroom. So to sign into Google Classroom, you're going to need your student ID number. So at Hartford, your student ID number can be found in several different places. On your report card, it is also your lunch number, and it's also the same login information that you use for PowerSchool. So it's really important. This is how you're going to sign in. You need to first locate your student ID number, report card, lunch number, or login for PowerSchool. All right, so there's a few ways to log in to Google Classroom. One is on your computer, laptop, or tablet. So on your computer, laptop, or tablet, you are going to open up the Google Chrome web browser. It does work in other web browsers like Safari or Internet Explorer, but it really is optimized. It's really best in Google Chrome. So you're going to open up your Google Chrome browser, and then you are going to type into the browser tab classroom.google.com. So right into that browser tab, you can type in classroom.google.com. All right, so that's the first way you can start to sign in, or you can sign in on your mobile phone. So the first step is to open up your Google Chrome app. You may need to get this from the App Store, but it is free. So just go ahead and get it from your App Store, the Google Chrome app. And then you are going to type in classroom.google.com into the Google Chrome browser app. our recommendation is that you do not use the Google Classroom app. And that is because the system is not set up for you all to use the Google Classroom app. So it's really important that you just go through the web browser, your Google Chrome web browser. All right, so once you've initially put in your information, this is how to see it on your mobile phone, just modeling it, right? Open my Google Chrome app, and then I'm typing in classroom.google.com. Then it's going to take you to this landing page. So either method has you go into this landing page where you're going to enter in your password. So like we talked about, right, your password is your student ID number that you can find on your report card, it's your lunch number, or your PowerSchool information. And so this is your students' sign-in information for Google Classroom. So it's student ID at students.hartfordschools.org. So if your student's ID number is 0918193, this is what the username will be, 0918193 at students.hartfordschools.org. Okay, so let's keep going. Then you're going to make sure to press next. All right, once you have pressed next, now you have to enter in your password. So at Hartford, all of the students' passwords are their birthday in the format YYYMMDD. So for example, if your child's birthday is July 15, 2004, their password would be 2004 0715. Once you enter that in, you then press next. Okay, so both methods, whether you're signing in on a phone or you are signing in on a tablet or computer, you will get to this Google Classroom home page. So let's explore now Google Classroom now that we've gotten into the Google Classroom homepage. Okay, so once again, this is what a student's Google Classroom homepage will look like. For middle or high school students, you will have a box that is for each subject with a different teacher. So therefore, if you are a middle or high school student, each one of these boxes is a different class. For elementary school students, you likely might just have one classroom, right? Just your classroom teacher. And therefore, you would only see one box here. It might be, as an elementary school student, that you might see multiple boxes as well. Maybe there's a box for art or a box for physical education, but every box is a class that you can that you have assignments in. So let's look at a class where I am a student. So in order to actually get into the class, I have to click on the title of the class, and then your class will be opened up. So once I click on that title, this is what I see. Here you'll see that there are 3 sections. We have the stream, classwork, and people. In addition, if the teacher has made it visible, you will also see the Meet link, which is how students can join a video meeting in your class. So every Google Classroom is set up the same way. So you're always going to see the functions, stream, classwork, and people. And if your teacher has made it visible, you are able to see your Google Meet link so that you can join a video conference when it's time to do that with your teacher. Okay, so let's explore each section a little bit. We're first going to explore the stream. The stream is where your class will have all of the announcements from your teacher, including classwork that the teacher has created. If you actually see classwork that the teacher has created, you can click on it here and it will link to the classwork. You can also write a class comment. Just know though, if you write a class comment, everyone in the class will be able to see the class comment. Also, and they just added this, you on the stream page, you can see all of your upcoming work that is due, that the teacher has made due under this upcoming section on the left. All right, now that we learned about the stream, let's explore the classwork section. This is a really important section. So here is where I can see all of my classwork assignments in one place. Once I click on the name of the classwork, I can see the directions and any of the other materials that are needed for that piece of classwork. So this is a really important place, right, for me to really understand how to navigate it. So we're going to go in to look at different types of assignments that the teacher might post for your student. Okay, so once you are ready to complete your work, you are going to click the button to view the assignment. And now I can see what I have to do for the assignment, including the directions. Those are the directions, right? The materials, and the materials for this assignment. Now, what's really great about Google Classroom is here, my teacher has posted the materials that I have to use to complete this assignment. And when I click on this, it actually opens up right to the worksheet. And in that worksheet, I can complete my work online. In that worksheet, it automatically saves the work. And then I can go back into my classroom to actually submit my work. So because the teacher set it up this way, I have my own personal worksheet that I can complete in my Google Classroom assignment. So what also is great is that you can attach other materials to your assignment if you need to add materials. So maybe you want to submit some extra work for your teacher to look at, and you can actually put that here. Once you are ready to turn in your assignment, you are going to press turn in. So remember, this is super important for you to press this button. You always need to press it in or submit your assignment in order for your teacher to actually see their work. This is where a lot of students forget to do in this step. They forget, they do their work, but then they forget to turn it in. And then the teacher won't be able to see that they've completed their work. So really important that we understand that you have to press turn in. If you make a mistake with your work, you can press the unsubmit button. However, the unsubmit button option will only appear if your teacher has not returned your classwork to you. Once the teacher has returned your classwork to you, once they have graded it, you will not be able to unsubmit your work. Okay, so also, which is really good to know, you can add in a private comment for your teacher if you'd like, and you can do this on all your classwork. So you can put a private comment if you have a particular question or you're wondering about your grade. You can put in that private comment here. If you want to see the comment that your teacher has left you, you have to return to this particular assignment to actually see the comment that the teacher has left you. Okay, let's look at another type of classwork that your teacher might have posted for you. So to see another assignment, you are going to click on the class name at the top left. And then you are going to click classwork. So you always have to do that if you're in a classwork and you're looking at it, a particular assignment. In order to get back to classwork, you have to go back to the name of your class in that top left, and then click on classwork again to get back to the classwork page. All right, so let's look at another assignment. So here she's posted a question for me to answer. So teachers can actually post just a single question that they want their students to answer. So it's like a discussion that students can engage in. And here you can click on the title and then view assignment. Once you do that, you actually can answer the question right in the classwork. So do you see this? You actually can answer the question right in the classwork for your teacher to see. You also see that you can put in a private comment to your teacher or leave a comment for the whole class. So this can actually, this question feature can actually be a class discussion. So you can leave a whole comment for the whole class if you would like, or still do that private comment. Once you've answered the question, you have to remember to press turn in. Remember, you always need to press this button for your teacher to be able to see that you've completed your work. And I'll say it again, this is where a lot of students forget to do, right? And then the teacher goes, where's the work? And the student will say, I did it, but they didn't turn it in. So it's really important that you actually always press that button, turn in, so that the work is submitted. Also, there are times when a teacher might post something for you to just watch or engage in, and you don't actually have an assignment that goes with it. There's not an extra worksheet or question that you have to answer. They just want you to watch a video or read an article. If that's the case, you should watch the video or read the article, and then you are going to press mark as done. And again, that's telling the teacher that you went in and did this work that they asked you to do. Make sure to always press the turn in or mark as done. Okay, so once you've done all of your work, you also probably want to check what grades you've gotten, right? And you might want to do this as a parent. So you can check the grade that the teachers have given the students. To check the grade, you're going to click on the classwork name, like the name of the assignment. And here you can see that it says graded. Do you see that on the top right? The top right, yeah, you can see that it is graded. To see the full grade, you then click on view. And at the top right corner, I can see that the teacher, the grade that the teacher gave me, right? And for this assignment, the teacher gave me an 85 out of 100 for this assignment. Please know that sometimes the teacher won't give a number grade, and in that case, it will just say complete. So sometimes the teacher will assign a number grade, and sometimes they just want you to complete work, and so they'll just mark it as complete. Okay, so to get back to the class page, you're going to click on the title at the upper left, and it's going to bring you back to that class page. So always, to get back, you're always going to click that title that you see in the corner, and it has you come back to your home page to go to the other sections. The last section is the people section. So here I can see my teachers and the other students in the class. Hartford students can actually email their teachers directly by clicking on the envelope icon. And if you do this, an email window will open up and you are able to email your teacher directly. So pretty exciting. Okay, so we just explored the stream, the classwork section, and the people section. So those are always the main section. Those are the three sections that you always will see in your Google Classroom. A new feature that came out a few months ago is video conferencing right in Google Classroom. So let's explore how Google Meet works, which is what teachers are using to do video conferencing with their students. So to see the Google Meet link, you're going to go to the stream section, and then you are going to click on the Meet link. Now, the Meet link is you can click on it directly, which will bring you right into your classroom virtual meeting. once your teacher is ready to have you come into that virtual meeting. So this Google Meet link will only appear when the teacher has started the meeting. So you can't do it on your own. You have to wait for your teacher to have it go up there for you to come into the meeting. All right, so once you click on that link, right, you're going to see this pop-up window that comes up. And here is where you can decide to turn the camera on or off so that your teacher can see you or not see you. You also can turn on or off the mute button. An important thing to note is that when you click on the microphone button or the camera button and you want to turn it off, when it's turned off, it will appear as red. So you can change both of these settings, the microphone and the camera working throughout your meeting with your teacher, but you can decide when you go into the meeting if you're going to have the camera on or off or the mute button on or off. So once you are ready to join the meet, then you are going to press the Join Now button, and that's going to bring you into the meeting. Let's look at what it looks like when we're inside the meeting. So once you're in this meeting with your teacher, you'll see who else is in the meeting. You'll see all of your other classmates and your teachers along the side. You have your microphone and camera buttons, and remember, you can turn on or off the microphone or the camera. You can also turn on closed captioning. So this is live closed captioning that's available in every Google Meet. And I think that's really helpful for a lot of students to be able to also read what people are saying in your Google Meet. So you can turn those on. You also have the chat box. So this is where you can ask questions to your teacher. You can ask for help. Your teacher might ask you to collaborate with others, and you can use that chat box. Once the video call is done, once your teacher has said, all right, that's the end of our class, you are then going to press the red phone icon to get out of the Google Meet. So once your teacher has said class is done, you're then going to go ahead and press that button so that you are done with your video conference. Okay, so we talked a lot about how to look at one class, but how do I find other classes when I am in my classroom? So in order to, when you're in your single classroom, your Google Classroom, if you want to go to your other classes, you can click on the three lines at the upper left. So you have the three lines at the upper left. We call that a hamburger. And then you scroll down until you see all of the classes that you are a student in. So you can go through and you'll be able to see all of the classes that you're a student in. You can click on the name of that class, and then you'll be brought to that class's page. So let's watch it one more time. Click on that hamburger, those three lines, you scroll through, and then you'll be able to see all of the other classes that you're a student in. Click on that, and you can go to your next class. Okay, so now you learned a little bit about Google Classroom and how it works for our kids so that they can stay connected to their teachers, they can get their work done, so that they can go into their virtual meetings. But I want to give some tips for you all around distance learning. So the first one is to set up a schedule for your child. It's really important, as much as possible, if your child is at home with you for distance learning, that they have a consistent wake up time, that they have consistent break times, that you make sure that they get dressed in the morning and not wear their pajamas, right? That they have lunch, etc. It's really important to have a routine. Just like they have a routine at school, it's important to also set up that routine for your child when they are at home. If possible, and I recognize that it's not always possible, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, so I know what that's like. If it's possible, set up a quiet, separate place for your child to complete their work. Um, it's really important mentally to have a space that is a workspace versus a play space. It's really important for students and adults to really have that delineated for themselves. So if possible, set up these separate spaces for them to do their work. It's also really important to check your child's Google Classroom for upcoming assignments, right? Really help to be a partner with your child with their work, especially initially, so that you can make sure that they're doing their work and staying on top of it. Remember, I showed you in the stream section, you actually can see all of the upcoming work that students have that's becoming due. So that's a really good one-stop shop. Go to that classroom, click on the stream page, and you can see the upcoming work. That's a really great place to look for all of that work that students are doing. Next one, really important. Communicate often, right? Check in with your child, communicate with them, and also check in with your child's teacher often. Really make, especially in distance learning, it's really important that there's really clear lines of communication between you and the teacher and your child. All right, next one. Build in those breaks and physical activities. It's really important that children have built-in breaks throughout the day, and not just younger children, but our older kids as well. It's really important that there's physical and mental breaks for them throughout the day, and they're not sitting on the computer for the entire day with no breaks at all. Really important to keep that in the routine. And then lastly, it's really important to set up expectations for your child and for yourself. So for your child, it's a good idea to go over the school's expectations about distance learning, right? What are the expectations that the teacher and the school has outlined for the child around distance learning? Also, what are some expectations that might need to be in place for sharing devices in your home, right? It might be that you have one device that you're sharing among multiple students, children. What are the expectations that you can set up so that they all can be successful sharing that device? And then finally, it's really important that you set your expectations and boundaries for your child, right? If you are also working at home, are you setting up, boundaries for your child about when they can come to you to ask for help, when they, can they interrupt you? All of those things are really important for you to set up with your child as well. All right, so I'm right on time. I want to open up with my moderators if there are questions that are coming up around Google Classroom. And I also have some fun resources to share with you all to support distance learning after the Q&A.
So we have a question regarding email. So the question is, how does my child access his email? His teacher sent an email and we could not find it.
So I did check in with the district lead about Google Classroom, and if teachers and if students are able to email their teachers from Google Classroom, and they confirmed yes, you can email your teachers. The normal pathway, and we can get back to you guys on this just to double check, but the normal pathway is to go to mail.google.com. Maybe we can type that in the chat, but mail.google.com. And then you should be able to sign in with that same username and password that you use to sign into Google Classroom. So remember that student ID at students.hartfordschools.org, and then the password is the child's birthday. So you should be able to still log in to email to check the email from the teacher by going to mail.google.com in order to sign in that way.
Okay, so we have a recurring question about how can you find the student's ID number?
Yeah, so great question. So the student ID number can be found in 3 places. 1, the report card. 2, it's their lunch number. And 3, it's your PowerSchool login number. Now, if you don't know any of those, if you have, if you're new to the district or you don't know, you threw out the report card from last year, totally cool. I would recommend that you call your child's school and ask for their student ID number so that you can log in to Google Classroom. And it's an important number to have because that is how the district identifies your child. So if you can't find it in those 3 places, their report card, their lunch form number, or PowerSchool login information, I would just call the school and ask for their ID number.
Okay, another question is, will pre-K3 be doing live classrooms?
I don't know the answer to that question. Is there someone else on the call from the district who knows the answer to that question?
We'll try to get an answer typed into the chat. So in the meantime, I will read another recurring question. The question is, why can't the Google Classroom's mobile app be used?
Yeah. So I don't work for the district. I'm an outside support person who teaches teachers about technology. But my understanding about the Google Classroom app is that, and the reason why the district does not want you to use the Google Classroom app is that there is some integration issues with the Google Classroom at the district and the use of the Google Classroom app. So instead, they are asking you to log in through the web browser instead. So again, you go to classroom.google.com, and you can do that either on your computer or a tablet or on your mobile phone by opening up your Google Chrome browser and typing in classroom.google.com to sign in that way.
Okay, and I know we touched on this earlier, but there's a question about how do I turn in an assignment?
Great. Well, let me go back to that portion. So turning in let me just go to my Google Classroom. Can you all see my Google Classroom?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay. So here is my Google Classroom where I'm a student. So when I go to my classwork page, here's an assignment that my teacher has posted. Let's see. Oh, that's the mark is done. Let me go back. Let's see. Does she have need for writing? Okay. So here I have a question. So here I have a question that my teacher has posted. Who is the hero in the story and why? And I have to write my answer. So I have to write my answer. Let's see. The hero is Kate because she is brave. And so now I see that I have my turn in button. So once I complete my assignment, I have to go back. I have to go be in my assignment page and press turn in. And once I press that, I will have this prompt. Yes, I do want to turn it in. And now I've turned my assignment into my teacher so that they can grade it.
Okay.
Always press that turn in button. It's always going to appear on the assignment.
Okay, so there's a question regarding the transition to virtual learning. So is there any advice that you would give regarding transitioning to the virtual learning and any possible resources to help?
Yeah, so I do have some really great resources. Let me go ahead and get these links for you all. So I have an article that I wrote. It's in Spanish and in English about how to support diverse learners at home who are learning at home. So if you have a child who has some language processing needs, or who has some who needs some support with organizing their work, I give some really good tips that us as teachers use to do that in the classroom, but you can do that with your student, with your child at home. I also have this really great resource from commonsense.org, which is tips and tricks for families for distance learning. And then last, I will just drop in the student login directions for Google Classroom. But I think it's really important what we talked about here. If you go back into present, that you really think about setting up the schedule for your child. I would say that's the most important thing. And really making sure that you have expectations for what work your child has to do, what expectations they are, that you have for them about your engagement. But definitely check out those articles, because I think they go really in depth into ways to support your child during distance learning.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So there are a few Hartford specific questions that would need to be answered by someone in that particular content area. So this chat is being saved, so we can follow up with specific answers to the remaining questions in the chat.
Great. So my last thing that I wanted to make sure to get for you all is our family survey. So since we have people, we would love to have folks fill out this family survey, because I am going to be doing these workshops for you all throughout the year. And so we have this survey because we want to learn from you all about what interests you have, what needs you have, so that we can develop programming that meets your needs. So it's really helpful if you could fill out that survey for us, so we hear from you. Any other questions?
So that is it for the questions, but as I said, we will be sharing the ones that need follow-up.
Well, great, everyone. It was wonderful having you on a Thursday evening learning about Google Classroom. Again, this is, Google Classroom is really the hub for all of the work and communication that you have with your teacher. So thank you so much for joining, but I want to see if anyone from the district, if Nushette would like to just close out before we end.
Thank you so much, Kate. And thank you to all of our families for taking the time to join us for this Family Learning Institute. Definitely, this is a topic that we'll continue to visit. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to email outreach@hartfordschools.org, or feel free to call our Welcome Center at 860-695-8400. Thank you and stay well.
Thank you, Nushette. I also forgot to mention, make sure to sign up for your text message reminders from your child's school. Opt into those so that you can stay in communication. Really important to do that.
Thank you, Kate.